Universal has those waiting
Ladies and gentlemen, if we can work our way towards the seats, we're going to get started in about 2 minutes. Jim Weisz is going to be coming up on stage. Jim's going to be talking about building a thriving business.
I remember that was the one that he always used to use. Megasec, yeah.
building a private business.
Right.
Of course, I'll have my credit card like that.
Which means that you'll put it in manually and you pay it slightly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is what it is.
Well, you know, and that's the thing. I've heard people, you know, and I've gotten into this a couple of times with you. They were like, you know, if I have to have credit card processing fees, I'm going to pass those on and blah blah blah. And I'm like, here's the thing. If you took $1,000, say for sake of argument, $1,000, right? Your fees are $30. It's a cost of doing business.
What's your billing zip at?
532104. The number of nickel and dime crap that you get from people. It's Alan at Scottish. A-L-A-N. 1 L. Yep. 2 A's. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you. First piece of swag.
We're going to get things going. We've got Jim Weisz coming on up. Everyone can come up.
All right.
Have seats. On the schedule for this afternoon, we had at 2 o'clock, Ben still is going to be going on stage talking about rigging. And for those of you who aren't into the rigging thing, at 2:30, Rob was going to be going upstairs in the suite and talking about game show and basically answering questions, what have you. We're going to move him from suite 2 to suite 1 because, well, suite 1 is bigger, and I apologize for that. That's one of the negative things about having the property and growing beyond our room and such, because we can't do things here, so we have to go upstairs and do things. And it's a little cozy, and I apologize for that, but it's a good thing, I guess, that we've got that kind of numbers of people. So we're going to get Jim up on stage and go on with our next presentation. And you'll notice with the Conclave, we're a little less formal than others, so we don't have full descriptions of their sessions. We just know that Jim is a really good guy, and that's why we wanted to have him up here. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you put your hands together for Jim Weisz. Thank you, John. So I've come up to Minnesota for a few years. I'm from Dallas, for anybody that doesn't know me, and spoke, I think, when John had his show in Dallas quite a while ago, and appreciate John giving me the opportunity to speak again. So I think I sent John probably 5 different descriptions for what I was going to talk about today, and I couldn't really decide what I was going to talk about, and I kind of formulated it over the last couple weeks. And I'm hoping that whether you're full-time or part-time, for me personally, I'm part-time. And I'm hoping that with the things that I'm going to kind of go over with everyone today will help you with whatever type of business you have. So from 2000 to 2009, I mean, I'm from Chicago. I lived there my whole life. I started my DJ business in 2000, worked there for a few years, and then I moved to Dallas. I got a job opportunity. I moved to Dallas in 2003. So a lot of my experience started in Chicago, and then I moved to Dallas, and I had my business there. I had my first event after moving to Dallas within 3 months. I had my first wedding book. For those of you who might have read my articles in Mobile Beat or seen me post online, my big thing is websites. I'm all about the web. So I was fortunate and I was able to build my website pretty quickly. I was in Chicago. I owned a really great domain name. It was ChicagoWeddingDJs.com. If any sort of derivative of that is available in your market, I highly recommend it, just because the search engine optimization aspect of that will really help you. Before I moved, I saw, hey, Dallas Wedding DJ is available, so I bought that. That's how I was able to get my first booking so quickly. So from 2009 to 2010, after working 40 hours a week and DJing, probably 30, 40 weddings a year, I just kind of got burnt out. I just needed to take a break. I'm sure, other people in here can kind of relate to that, because it can be really stressful trying to, whether you're doing a full-time job or just DJing, just can kind of take a toll on you. So from 2009 to 2010, I kind of took a break. I basically took what I call the layups. I had a tool on my website where someone could just get a quote. They got the quote, they emailed me back and said they wanted to book. Great, they booked. And that was basically all that I was doing for those couple of years. And then in 2011, well actually 2010, we had kids. And anybody who has kids knows how expensive kids are. We are up to our we just had our 3rd son earlier this year. So just trying to find ways to make more income and bring more money in so that my wife can be home more and take care of the kids. So I'm going to kind of go through some of my numbers from the last few years. And this is what kind of helped me see just how the things I've done over the last few years have helped me grow my business. 2009, $4,300 in revenue. Not a whole lot, part-time business. 2010, $5,400. 2011, like I said, I started to ramp it up, brought it up to $28,000. 2012, brought it up to $50,000. And then this is 2013. I just pulled this from my website last week. I've actually added a few more things since then. I'm just about $90,000 in revenue for 2013. Once again, as a part-time business. So, kind of a cool thing for me is, if I ever decide I want to leave my part-time or my full-time job in order to bring this full-time, some nice comfort to know, hey, you can bring in this much money while you're still doing a part-time job. Obviously, there's only so many Saturdays in the year, so you kind of have that you have to contend with. But here's a couple of the things that I did to kind of build my business from the 4,000 all the way to 90,000, which was 1,600% increase over 3 years is basically what I did to get my business where it is today. So the first thing that I did is I narrowed my focus down to weddings. So is there anybody in here who just does weddings? Okay, so my clients have I kind of found that they like that I'm not possibly DJing a school dance on a Friday night. I'm just focusing on wedding receptions. So for me, that was a really big thing. The second thing that I did is I launched a new website and I got a new logo. And a really key thing for me is I found a female designer. I knew my target market is brides. So I wanted to have someone that would be designing for women. So it was really important to me to find a female designer that could design for that market. Reviews. How many of you have an account on Wedding Wire or The Knot? Okay. So for me, reviews are really important. I have somewhere in the range of about 65 reviews on Wedding Wire. It's really important to build up those reviews and get as many reviews as you can in order to have your past clients see just how great you are and how happy everyone is with your work. So advertising. For me, advertising
basically, I'm talking about working on my website, seeing how big I can make my website, seeing how many people I can get to come there, and just build that up and grow it as much as possible. So I launched an additional website. Like I mentioned, I have DallasWeddingDJ.com. It's a lot of work to have multiple websites. I actually have 4 different websites. I have DallasWeddingDJ.com, DiscoveryDJs.com, which is my business. I have Discovery Decor Lighting, which is my lighting business, and then I have DallasWeddingUplighting.com. That's a lot of work to keep up 4 different websites, but each website has its own unique content. So I'm hitting different markets from each website. So someone who might be searching for Dallas Wedding Uplighting might find my uplighting website, and someone who might be searching for Dallas Monogram might find my Discovery Decor Lighting website. And it's really interesting how sometimes I'll get a lead today from someone who found one website and then tomorrow from the other website. And it's kind of interesting because the funny thing is you'll see who's really price shopping. Because, oh, I gave him a price quote today from this one website and then tomorrow I'm getting a price quote from the other website. But if you can do the multiple websites, I highly recommend it because you're just going to get more traffic to you. So in January of 2012, I launched my lighting business. How many people are doing lighting these days? Yeah, I mean, it seems like pretty much everybody is. So for me, this was kind of like a tipping point for me. I'm not going to call a plumber to fix something that's wrong with my electrical in my house. I'm not going to call maybe a DJ company just to do my lighting, even though they might offer DJ lighting. I'm going to call a lighting company. So I launched my lighting company in January of 2012. It's been very successful for us, and basically it's kind of given some validation of the fact that it's just lighting. And the cool thing is I get a lot of people that are booking me because they have a friend who's DJing their wedding, or they have a band. So I'm making some money on those events where I might not be able to DJ their wedding, but that I can still be making some money on it. So by launching my separate lighting company, it's allowed me to bring in that extra income for those events. So blog. Pretty much everybody has a blog these days, or at least most people do. For me, the big thing about the blog is you have to keep it up. And I'll tell you, I'm the first person that is not the best at keeping up their blog. I was really great about it for a while, and then I kind of got behind on it, didn't really keep up with it. But the big thing about blogs, other than maybe a couple people, most people are not coming to your blog every single day and reading your content. That is not really the purpose of the blog. The blog is just to generate traffic to your website. So the big thing is good post titles, good content in your posts. So I actually had this conversation with Matt, who's sitting back there, about 2 years ago, in regards to post titles. Like he would have a post maybe that would say, we DJ'd at so-and-so wedding. That's really good, but if you make your post title, Chicago Wedding DJ at such and such event, when someone searches for Chicago Wedding DJ at that venue, your post might come up and then they've already been funneled to you. Networking groups. So this is a great example of networking and kind of building up your relationship with other vendors. For me in Dallas, we have a really great group of vendors that we network with, and so I'm constantly working with other planners and other vendors in the industry to just kind of build up my business as much as I possibly can. So email, we were talking about this last night. I was talking about this a little bit with Matt and some of the other guys in regards to just how you handle your email. I am fanatical about email. If I get an email, I want to respond to it as quickly as possible. And unfortunately, sometimes you know that the first person who responds to that, the prospective client, that might be who they're going to book. So you want to be as quick as possible with those responses. What I try to do is I try to engage everybody in some conversation. So instead of just them emailing, hey, I want some information, sure, here's a price quote. I don't do that. I don't hide around like my prices. I'm happy to give them a price on email. With being a part-time business owner, it's difficult for me to meet with every single person and kind of pitch them in person. So what I want to do is engage them in some conversation, kind of get them to where they kind of feel like they have some rapport with me, and then I'm going to go ahead and give them the price quote. So at that point, I'm not just another name, because a lot of these people, they're going online and they're finding 5, 10, 15 people, there's mass, emailing as many as they can, and who's the best price. So you're not going to stand out in that situation. So what you need to do is find a way to differentiate yourself a little bit. For me, keeping it short is key. and having some pre-built templates. I'm going to pull up a screenshot in just a second of kind of my Outlook. And one thing I really live on is my drafts folder. And I have a ton of drafts pre-built for all the different types of emails that I might be sending. So I might be sending a response to a lighting quote, or I might be sending a response to a wedding DJ quote. So whenever I'm going to be sending a response to, I kind of have it pre-built, but then I customize it. So instead of it taking me 10 or 15 minutes to write an email, it takes me 3 or 4 minutes. And then responding to all your leads. I used to be a big proponent of, I had a quote generator on my website. And it was really nice because someone could just go there, get a price quote, if they were interested, they'd email me back. But it took away the personal aspect of everything, and again, you just kind of got lumped into, here's a price from this one company. So what I did about 2 years ago is I said, I'm going to respond to every single lead that comes in. This year alone, I've gotten over 600. I responded to every single one of those. Since I'm single op, just one DJ, I can only do so many. So I have a network of other DJs that I refer to when I am booked. But every single person gets a response from me. So like I said, I'm really particular about my email. I like to stay really organized. My inbox in this screenshot that I took maybe a few days ago, 11 emails. And if I have more than about 20 in my inbox, I start to get really crazy because I'm like, that's too many. I need to just really cut that down. So what I do is you'll see over on the left, I have all my different folders. I'm really big on following up with my leads, so I have a hot leads folder. Anybody that I've had a few emails back and forth with, and this seems like a pretty solid lead, it's going in there, and I'm going to be following up with it later on in the week or next week. Past clients, I save all of their emails. Just really want to stay organized. That's a really big thing for me. Some tools that I use in order to help me run my business more effectively. Again, as a part-time business owner, I have to be really effective with how I run my business. So one thing that I use is EchoSign. This is actually a standalone tool. I know that Troy's tool does this, where it's pre-built in. One thing that I like about EchoSign, and Troy might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if his does this or not. I really like this. If you see down here at the bottom under where it says recent events, you can actually see when people have logged in and see the contract that I sent them. So the great thing is, I can see, okay, well I sent Donna Robinson a contract, and she looked at it. Okay, so she's interested. Let's see what the next step is. You can also send reminders through there. I'm pretty sure Troy's can do that as well, but I really like that aspect. Banana Tag, this is one of my favorites. There's a free version and there's a paid version. The free version is 5 emails or less a day, and the paid version is as many emails as you want. So Banana Tag's premise is it just tracks all the emails that you send. And the really great thing, I've used this for kind of like an extra layer of follow-up in addition to my leads folder, is anytime someone opens up an email that you've sent them or clicks on a link, you'll see these 2 screenshots I have here, it'll send me an automatic email. So what I've kind of done with these is I'll have someone that maybe I sent them a quote last month, and then all of a sudden I get an email, hey, Jane Smith opened up your email. Well, maybe she's interested in booking me. I haven't heard from her in a while. I don't want to make them think that I'm spying on them, but what I'll do is a couple days later, I'll just send a random check-in email. Hey, are you still interested? And I've gotten so many of those. Well, it's funny, I was just looking at your email the other day and I am actually interested. So it's really great to have this kind of secret tool. And the cool thing too is, if you put links in your emails, it'll really help you see what people are clicking on, because you can see in both of these. So in the first one, she clicked, I give a link to my lighting website, and I say, here's my lighting website, if you'd like to see some pictures. The second email is, she clicked on a link in my signature, which is funny, we all have these signatures, and some of them are really big, and some of them aren't. You'll see that most of the time people don't even click on those links. So for me, I keep mine pretty short and compact, but it's really cool to see what people are actually clicking on. So if you're someone that does put a bunch of links, so hey, sir, here's a picture of this, or here's a video of that, or whatever, you can kind of track that. And they even have a website where you can log in and see specific analytics. Some other things I use. For all my payments, I'm really big on being paperless. It's just kind of how I have to be. It's just the nature of the beast of having a full-time job and a part-time business. I'm just all about being efficient. So paperless with my contracts using EchoSign. I don't know if I even explained that. EchoSign's for digital signing of contracts. Intuit is how I do all my payments, and I use something called Intuit IPN, which is something payment network, maybe Intuit Payment Network. And basically the way that it works is you can have 2 ways of taking payments. You can do e-checks or you can take credit cards. The credit card rates aren't great. They're 3.25%, which is more than you're probably paying if you're using Square, or you're using GoPayment, or you're using something else. Most of my clients are paying with an e-check, which is 50 cents. Last year I saved $1,200 alone in credit card processing just by using Intuit for all my payments. And the great thing about it is I just have a link to it on my website. I ask my clients to submit payment through that. Every so often, I have it pre-set up for them to pay with a check. Most people just pay with a check. Every so often, I'll get someone that'll say, well, do you accept a credit card? And I, of course, say, well, sure, I'll set that up for you, and I send them a separate invoice. But that's a big savings. And the nice thing is it's all in one system. I used to use a combination of PayPal and Square and this and a few other things. It was just so segmented. There was just so many different places I had to keep a track of where my money's coming from. And paper checks that came in. The nice thing is I haven't had a paper check come in and I can't even remember how long. And so just one nice way to just kind of automate everything. Website tools. How many of you, when you have your meetings with your clients, actually walk them through any tools you have on your website? Okay. This for me is huge. And going back to my original slide where I kind of showed my breakdown in revenue and everything, I don't have it on there, my exact number of weddings I DJ'd versus weddings we just did lighting for. I want to say I DJ'd somewhere in the ballpark about 40 weddings this year. If I had to guess, 35 of those were just floored by seeing those tools. And even wedding planners, I had a wedding planner who she does a ton of weddings. She finally set me up with one of her clients and we had a meeting. At the end of the meeting, she catches me on the side and she said, those tools are awesome, but that's really great that you had those built for your company. I didn't have them built for my company. I said every DJ, or a lot of DJs, use them. She had never seen a DJ talk about them or show them to their clients. For some people, that's a real clincher. We're all so connected to our phones and our iPads and our computers. People like knowing that they can kind of plan their wedding strictly through their computer. You know, pick all their music and submit all their information right through the website. So for me, it's huge. It's a big difference between showing a screenshot, hey, you can pick your music on my website, and walking them through it. I actually say, what's your first dance song? Or well, who's an artist that you really like? Boom, I do a search and pull up all the songs from that artist. And they're really kind of just taken aback by, wow, it's that easy? Just show them all the different things that are pre-built into that. Having a strong and good CRM system is huge. Keeping track of all of your data. I'm a big numbers guy, so I'm constantly running reports and seeing how sales projections are looking, how many weddings I'm doing, how many of this I booked, how many of that I booked, seeing where I want to spend my money. This year for me, I added on pin spotting in my lighting business, and it's been really great. We invested in a pretty high-end pin spotting system. It is fully paid for this year already. So now next year, and for however much longer we use that, it's basically pure profit other than labor. So for me, having a strong CRM system where everything is automatically put in there is really huge. And then I just threw a couple of quotes on here for my last slide. I'm a really big business guy. Like I was talking to Mitch last night. When I have free time, I like to read business books. I like to read business magazines. If you don't read Inc. magazine or Fast Company, those are really great magazines. I love them. So for me, Gary Vaynerchuk, if you don't know him, I highly recommend. I personally like listening to his audiobooks because he is just fanatical and you'll just kind of get a rush off listening to him. If you go online and go to YouTube and look up Gary Vaynerchuk TED Talk, the Inc. 500 Talk. He did an Inc. 500 Talk. That was amazing. I've watched that probably 3 or 4 times and just been really just excited about business after that. His books are really great, so just a couple quotes from Gary up here. And then real quick, I wanted to plug this for Mitch. Mitch actually we had a group of DJs in Dallas that Mitch did a webinar for us, and it was really helpful to me. I told him last night that before our meeting, my consultations, I didn't show them my planning tools, and I didn't really talk to them about the bride and the groom. I just kind of said, tell me about your wedding. And then again, I just kind of fell into just another DJ. And then I kind of changed things after he did this webinar with us where he showed us all of his questions that he might ask in the consultation. And then I got to know the brides and grooms and got to have a personal connection with them and become friends with a lot of them after the wedding. So Mitch asked me just to let everybody know that he has the questions up here if anybody would like to take any of those. And that's all I have. Thank you very much. I use eWebman. Any questions?
do you use? Do you
Um,
use phone apps to share?
Well, Dropbox is one. Like, I got a great idea for Mitch with doing all the different folders. I'm really big on using Dropbox for sharing things with my clients. I'm bigger on like using my iPad for. I'll have all my pictures, and these are things that I bet most people are doing. But I have all my lighting pictures on my iPad. For me, kind of a neat sales tool is I'll pull up my iPad if someone wants to see pictures of something, and I have all of my pictures on there. So someone might see something if I'm scrolling through trying to find something. Oh wow, that looks amazing! Like a big thing for me that I do is lighted cocktail tables. It's a really great revenue thing. So someone might see that and say, oh, that's really great. So I don't know that I have any other than like Square when I used to take those payments and stuff. That's probably about it.
Tracking, we're talking about, that doesn't require them to click that they want to send a reply, it's automatic.
No, yeah, it's all in the
Whether they want
background.
it or not, you get a notification.
It's all in the background.
Signals does the same thing, kind of very similar.
Yeah.
You can see when they've opened one of your emails.
Whether the customer says send something or not, they don't have it.
Yeah, it's not like a read receipt with Outlook or anything. It's just an automated thing that runs in the background. It doesn't work with, I haven't quite figured out how it works in terms of, not every single one. I know someone's read someone because they might call me and say, oh, I read your email and I didn't get the banana tag email. So I think, some platforms it might not pick it up, or maybe if they're reading it on their phone versus on a computer. But I would say most of the time that someone has opened it, I actually get it.
Cool.
Thank you. Take about a 2-minute break, and then we'll just not time enough to stand up and stretch. We gotta hook up a different computer, and then we're gonna have a little presentation, and then we'll be off for lunch. So don't go too far. Stand up, stretch a little bit. We're gonna get Jay up here.
Oh, absolutely.
Get this ready for the next round.
Totally a system that only.
And I knew we would.
Yeah.
I knew we would do it, so.
Oh, no.
I just literally cut out.
Yeah. Right, absolutely. And yours is, I mean, it's nice because it works for so many different people. Whereas ours is like, it's built for us,
That's
so
why I
it's
asked you a
like.
couple questions, because I thought.
It's,
We're doing awesome.
I mean, it's so custom built for us. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Ground, and it was awesome. I was like, it's almost 10 a.m. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm ready. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. I told you. Really quick.
Yeah.
Just go get him and bring him down. Maybe find a cooler. Yeah, we're gonna be those guys. It's all good. And John, he's because I got some well, I better keep drinking then. Yeah, we'll keep tomorrow before tomorrow. That'd be good if I go 4 or 5. Put some Jack Jack Daniels is a hell of a hand, man. There's not much you can do. And I got the first. My mom and right after. Which one was ugly as it was off the house. The truck was from an accident because I went out and got anyway, my mom said, what's wrong with your phone? Stop, Mom. I got it. Ignore it and go away. She goes, yeah, just like your wife away, your house away. I said, Mom, where's the love? Right there. Yeah.
Yes, it works.
My life. I do to punish
Dustin, what are you working on? Dustin, my shit. Oh, we're gonna do it. Let's do it. Nice. Let's do it. free to help out Adam or what? What? Take what you're working on.
Well, we're trying to find a problem. So I'm still in both from upstairs. I can mess your stuff up. So we're done.
Right, it's for art every Wednesday.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So like this one, the staff